Okay, for our next step, we're going to take this folder. It's a thin but stronger piece of material, which is what we need. We need something that's going to be thinner than this channel so that it'll move freely. But we need something sturdy enough so that it takes to the wear and tear of movement, right? I'm going to cut this conservatively. Of course, we know this is like, I'm going to start out cutting this 7 inches wide because I don't know exactly where I'm going to cut it down at. And we are going to go 7 inches by a touch over 7.5. 7.5 looks pretty good. We don't want too much play in there. So, all right, guys, so I have my 2 pieces of manila folder cut out. It is 7.5 wide here by 7.5 with a touch. I don't want it to be too loose in here, but it needs to have enough play to where it moves freely, right? So that's what we're working on here, is how to get this to move freely. Okay. This is the next step here is kind of stressful because I want to make sure that I have it right. And, you know, I spent so much time painting all of those pieces. And our maximum width should be 3/4 of an inch. So technically, if I do it at 3/4 of an inch, each strip, I should be okay. So I'm going to do 3 strips of each color at 3/4 of an inch. Fingers crossed that my thought process is right on this. I would really hate to mess up and, you know, I love these pieces here, you know. I think they're really stunning. And I want to be sure that that it works right. It should be 3/4 of an inch. It should be. So I'm going to cut 3 strips of each of these colors. They have now dried from the varnish that was put on them. 3 at 3/4 each. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, let me give you a quick update of where I'm at. So these were just 1 thick. And then I put a strip in here to make this a little bit stronger. And then that strip, for some reason, I didn't do it the full size here. So then I just cut a 3rd piece of manila folder. And they're all glued together. I put this little arrow on here so that what it does is it is a pulley strip. Pull. See? Now, since this isn't going to come out very far, is my plan, it can only come out to there, right? So we only really need to decorate this far. Actually, like that far, because then our strips are going to go over the top of it, and we don't want to add too much more bulk because, well, the manila folders here I think are going to be super strong, so that's good. Why is that not fitting in there very well? This one got a little crookedy, so I'm going to cut that down just a touch here. So this doesn't have to be like, I should put it under on Swoopy. I hate that. You know, it's like, oh, let's just trim it. And then when you trim it, then you screw it up. So we don't want to screw it up, not when we've come this far, and I just kind of screwed it up a little bit there, but I think we're okay. This one got a little bit crookedy somehow, so think we're all right. We're just gonna just trim right there. Okay, so see how that fits in there? How did that get so crooked? Honestly, guys, I have been measuring this. I've been really, it's not going to be seen, so it's not important. We are going to start. How do we want to do this? I could just paint this. Painting seems a little boring, but on the other hand, paint might be the best way to do it. I was going to put napkin over the top of it to really give it, you know, kind of a cool, interesting cover. But I did get some new black gesso here. So let's give these guys a quick coat of paint before we go any further. Now, could you use cardstock? Yeah. Could you use some sort of cardboard if you have it, like cereal box or something like that? Sure, go for it. I do kind of want to paint this black so that our edges underneath of our strips don't show. I'm hoping that this doesn't warp the way that our last piece of board that we used, but that was that craft chip board, so this is different stuff. Hoping that this does not warp like that did. And we're going to paint both sides. For craftsmanship purposes, you won't see the back side, but you might see the back side if you pull it out all the way. So let's just make sure it's done well. Because people look at the back sides of things. They really do. So we're going to let that one dry, and then let's pull in just a little piece of paper towel here. And we're going to paint this one. All right, well, I'm going to paint this up, and then I'll be back with the next step. We are going to have to glue these strips down here pretty quick. I think I like the idea of this just being black. I'm going to put an eyelet in the center of this. I will hang something off of it to dangle, to pull. Yes, I will. It's going to be cool. You know, you could always have maybe scrapbook paper, heavy-duty scrapbook paper might have worked for this puller thing. You know, just use what you have. What's going to stay strong and sturdy enough. That's why this is in some layers, some places 2 layers thick, and other places 3 layers thick. 3 layers thick where it is the main force of the pull will be at. So yes, it's exciting, isn't it? Yes. Again, the black won't get seen, but we will not have any white showing through. We hate white showing through. So. Okay. Flip it over and do the exact same thing and let it dry. Try not to get any goop on your book or goop on your little strips. That's always a hint for me as much for you. Sorry if you guys are not in screen again. Again, my tripod is all messed up. So here we are just painting our little strips of black. And we have made it basically 3 layers thick of this folder. Okay, we'll be back soon. We'll be back in a while for me, soon for you. Like seconds. All right, see you back. Bye. All right, guys. All I can say is that doing this the 3rd time has been so much easier. Got the strips cut quickly, efficiently. I know exactly what size they are, which is 3/4 of an inch, which is the same as the width of my trees. So hopefully you guys can just do it the fast way here. Now, I did put a layer of gesso on this, and I decided to go and sand it down after I put the gesso on. The reason for sanding it down is that it leaves, see that stuff just gets, the reason for sanding it down is that Yupo paper is very thin plastic, right? So the glue doesn't absorb into it, and kind of every single bump is felt with it. Really make sure that when you're cutting out these things that you keep them as square as possible. It's going to make a really big difference in the long run with your piece of art and how it reacts. So I sanded it down so that it would run smoothly. Thought about making a whole new one altogether and really did not want to do that. I like this red up in here, but I'm going to push that up just a little bit more. They don't have to be super tight butted together, but they do have to be kind of tightly butted together. Do not drag this glue over the top of these Yupo paper. And again, be super careful with that. You see, I can feel it in here. It's kind of a rubbery texture, consistency. Get it off of the alcohol ink strips. Kind of smush it here to move it back and forth, but not to get it in between the cracks. See, moving it just a little bit to get it pushed around. And plus that blue is really gorgeous. Okay, some more in here. So, yeah, I thought about just making a whole new one. I'm like, oh God, I'm not gonna make a whole new one. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, you can make it work. Because at some point, I cannot spend this much time on one layout. I just can't. I have way too much work to do for that. But then I also like to finish up a project before I move on to another one, especially having all these strips laying around. You know me, how quickly I lose things. Not good. We're just going to do summer to winter. I'm sad about that fall to winter. Wow, that would have been amazing. I think the spring was a great idea. I think, again, it just didn't work out the way I'd hoped. And so it's better to refine your idea. I still like the idea of showing the 4 seasons, for sure. Why are you cleaning it? Craftsmanship. That's what I mean by craftsmanship. Now be careful, because this glue will pick up and smear whatever stuff is underneath of here too, so. There we go. Much, much better. It looks crooked. Always looks crooked. This. There we go. But it's this board, I think. It's still not quite perfect. Okay. Nice. Flat surface. Glue is to the edges so that it can't pick up. Much, 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 much better. The scissors, there's it. gorgeous. I'm saving all of these little pieces. Oh, they're so gorgeous. Love alcohol ink. Such a cool product. Okay. Dun dun dun. See that little extra cut that I made there? Really watch when you're cutting your trees. Your spaces should probably be about a ½ inch in there. So the summer works perfect. I love it. I love it. Okay, okay. I'll be back and we'll get the chain put on here in the final details. I think it was a really good executive decision to do that. It, you know, hurt my heart a little bit, but you got to do what you got to do for the book. And you just got to keep working on it. It really only took me a ½ hour to fix everything once I knew what I was doing. So part of the time that it takes for me to do this is figuring out how to make it all. Okay, we'll be back. Guys, I'm just digging around in my stash box for things that would work for these pulls. I was going to do the Tree of Life, but now that I found 2 of these are actually old earrings. So I really encourage you to start your own stash box. Now you can get these little charms super cheap off Amazon. You can get like 100 grams for $8. You know, if you've got extra $8, go and just pick up some extra little things, you know? Get a little bit at a time, build up your stash. It's not like I did not get all of this stuff just in one sitting, okay? That's just not how it works. Like this little charm, I've had that charm probably for 10 years. I'm looking for one more. There it is. Boop, boop. You know, so don't think, oh, I don't have any stuff, I can't do it. Well, just get yourself some stuff. You know? Just go get yourself some stuff. Oh, checkers. See, like, I picked up this little checker set for $1. Why would I do that? Because they'll be pretty cool when you put alcohol ink over the top of them. That I can guarantee you. All right, I think we're going to use some leather to go from there to there. We're going to see how that works first. What I'm trying to do is, the reason for this is I don't want them to pull this this all the way out. The more pull that it has on it, probably, I would assume, the less what am I trying to say? it's harder to get it back into there. You know, it's just harder to get it back in. I wanted to put this little guy up here. Actually, I'm going to fold it this direction so that this comes this way. All right. So that's the maximum we want people to pull that out. Perfect. Okay. All right, guys, these are jump rings. All right, we got one smaller, one larger. That's why I like having that various sized thing, although these are pretty small. Actually, let's just do one here and see what happens. These are a thicker gauge wire, larger circles, mixture of metals. So let's just try these first. They look nicer. A little more bulk is good. It's kind of heavy. Is it going to eventually end up bending this? I think it might. Is it okay if it does that? Or do we just put on something that's lighter? That's pretty cool though. I think I'm gonna leave it for now and then decide later, because I want to be finished with this. But yes, we think about these things as we're doing them. We think about what's going to happen with our book integrity-wise. You know, that's what I'm trying to focus on, is having happy, healthy books that don't fall apart on us, as, you know, so many of us have been taught, including myself. You know, I was taught how to make a flimsy book, not a strong book. Right. So I decided to use these two instead of those earrings. I think those earrings are very cool, and I will probably be able to use them somewhere else. Well, not probably. I will be able to use them somewhere else at another time. Let's grab a... yeah, that'll work. I don't really care for the blue that's on here, or the silver, so I'm just trying to color them a little. With some alcohol ink. Alcohol ink should do the trick here. Why blue? Because I love blue. And it'll go with both the summer and the winter. Now, will this wear off with people's hands? Probably. Probably be good to put something else on there too. I do want to put some metallic in here though. We can't ever do anything that doesn't have a metallic to it, can we? Have to have metallic. Look at that. Wow. Now I gotta figure out how to let that dry. That gold went right over that blue stunningly. Or bronze. Went over the blue perfectly. Okay, I think that's cool. We'll just hope that that stays that way. Will it stay that way? I don't know. We will have to see. Once again, experimenting. Don't stick to me. Don't stick to me, man. Look at all that pretty stuff we've got under there. What can we do with that? All right. So with jump rings, guys, close them. Don't ever pull them apart this way. It'll spring the wire. That is wire that has been coiled and then cut. So be sure to just open it the way you're supposed to open it, not the way you think you want to do it. Right? So it's simple. Doesn't take much. Just go bloop. These do have a front and a back. Let's make sure which way it's going on there. Loop it in. Come on, baby. And then squish. Now, can that fall off easily on that jump ring? Yes, it can. So just be careful. I think that's pretty perfect. Just like that. All right, so then we have our... Why are you being poopy? What the heck is going on? Why are you not wanting to sit all the way in there? It must have gotten compacted in there somehow. Thing has been frustrating. It's been a frustrating spread, I'm not gonna lie. Summer. Fall. Or winter. If I really have to untie that to go through and clean that out, which is probably what's gonna have to happen right now. It's got something, oh, it has, I know what it has in there. It's caught the jump ring got in there somehow. Yep. There it is. See it? Oh, why won't you work? No, why won't you work? You I was like, what is that? Frustration. Frustration. Ta-da! So if you lose something, find it. Because it'll go right where it's not supposed to be. Alright guys, here's the finished product. Summer to winter. I am sad that the fall didn't make it in there. But I still think it's really phenomenal the way it is. Incredible. A lot of frustration, but you guys now know how to do it. So maybe I'll edit out the frustration. I'll probably show you bits of it so you don't see. This layout actually took days to do. Truly days. Get some more stays on here. I had to pull off and reattach this thing when it didn't dry straight. I had to, pull off and redo the ink on there, on here. I did that more than once. But in the end, I am incredibly proud of how this looks. Short of doing it all over, it is as good as I can make it. And that, to me, is what's important. And the only thing that I would change would be, to do the fall colors again. Other than that, also I would be a little bit more careful when cutting. So these need to be a little bit wider. Okay, we'll chat later. Bye.